Hello, I'm Eric Snodgrass, Senior Science Fellow and Principal Atmospheric Scientist for Nutrien Ag Solutions. And in this video here for Farm Credit Illinois, we're going to be talking about our current drought situation, what the water looks like going through winter, and we're going to focus on this spring and summer forecast. So let's start off first with this graphic here looking at the January 1st through February 5th precipitation ranks by climate district. Now, much of the really wet area that you see riding through here came from back in early January when the jet stream was just non-stop pummeling California and extended in through this part of the western Corn Belt with some very heavy snow. To the north of it, drier. To the south of it, drier, except for an ice storm that went through this particular area back here at the end of January and the beginning of February. Now, I want to ask a question about Illinois' susceptibility to drought. That's going to be the main idea here as we go through this forecast for spring and into summer. Because overall, right now, we're doing okay. You look at the precipitation year to date. This is a percent of normal. We see that most of the state, especially the southern half, is doing all right. There's a few areas over in western Illinois that show up in deficit. We kind of take a look in there. But overall, we can't look at this map and say that winter made the drought worse. The thing we are technically, though, in drought of is a snow drought. If you just take a look here, this particular graphic shows you accumulated snowfall departures through Monday, February 6th. And if you look across the state of Illinois, we've got several locations in here that are, 6 to 10 inches off of their average for Farm Credit's area. Now, southern Illinois, remember we had that one system that crept up just like this, delivering some snow right into this area that now has you overall at a net zero deficit. But the bigger picture thing I want to just keep thinking about is this graphic right here. So let's spend a moment on it. Last fall was one of the driest falls on record for the Mississippi watershed, and it dried out the soil pretty deep. This map here shows us where that drought still sits. You go down about 40 inches, which is 100 centimeters, and even with all that snow that's here, all right, and the rains we've seen in the eastern Corn Belt, we still have a deficit at 40 inches. And that's common. Winter, that's the difficult season to undo a drought. It takes spring and summer to break it. So we have questions. Are we going to be able to break this, underlying soil moisture issues we go into spring? So let's have a talk about it. Over the next 10 days, we're set up with systems that are just going to dive out of the Red River Valley at the south and go right over Illinois. There's at least 2 or 3 of them coming through. So we see above average precipitation across not only Illinois, but much of the central and western Corn Belt. To show you some of the timing on these systems, we'll do this quite quickly here. If we just wait until the middle of this week right here, this is Wednesday, getting into Thursday, that's one system that's going to roll over the top of us. Now, right now, for that system, we think it's mostly going to be rain for Illinois. There could be the chance that some of the snow on the backside, if this low shifts a little bit farther to the east, could deliver some snow on the backside to parts of like western Illinois, maybe up closer to the Illinois River, but overall, much of Farm Credit's territory is going to get some cold rain out of this. Now, we let that system go through, might be some scattered snow showers as we get toward the weekend here, but that's not much. The next system, then again, this is now Tuesday and Wednesday. Whoops, sorry about that. There it is, Tuesday and Wednesday, the 13th and the 14th, 15th. We're going to watch that carefully for another system to roll through. And that's why over the next 10 days, we do see better chances of above average precipitation. Now, why no more snow? Well, we're just mild, okay? There's no major blocking over Greenland. There's no major blocking ridges over Alaska. So the issue here is that we have no reason to just drive cold air from Canada right through the rest of North America. So much of the next 15 days getting to the middle of this month and beyond, maybe even to the third week of this month of February, are going to be quite mild. Don't rest on that. Remember, some of the biggest snowstorms we've had in Illinois come in March, and we're going to have to watch out for that carefully. But if we look out there, this is the newest update from the what we call the European Weeklies. They do a long-range forecast. This one is over the time period of February 15th to March 15th. Suggestion here is more mild days than cold. Cold shots will be brief when they come through, lasting just a few days. But overall, this is what I want you to see. The models continue to hone in on much of the central eastern Corn Belt as having above normal precip with near normal to drier risks west. So when I just think about this tells me that possibly through the end of winter and start of spring, we could see those subsurface soil moisture values coming up, especially through the southern half of Illinois. And that's a very good signal. That'll also up with the winter wheat crop that's going to be coming out of dormancy here. So I like this overall picture. It's echoed by the Climate Prediction Center. Let's go back and have a look at that again. Sorry, there we go. This is their outlook for the month of February. And once again, we do see this potential for above normal precipitation lasting into the month of March as well. So, last couple things. All of this is to change this map. And we know that there is still underlying subsurface soil moisture issues here. But all summer long, all spring long, before you even get to summer, there will be a lot of kind of focus on what happens to this drought that is still anchored throughout the plains of the United States. And does it move? Does it expand? And does the heat stay with it? If you ask me today, I'd say that right here along the Mississippi River, we're going to have to look to the west of that for the greatest risk of drought development early in this upcoming growing season. If you're in Illinois, I think we're going to be talking about tight planting windows. So here's the last bit. Biggest information we just got this weekend is this. Right now, the new forecast for the ocean temperatures out in the central equatorial Pacific is that this La Niña, which is on its third year, is fading quickly through spring. Now, we generally think of El Niño conditions being met when the ocean temperatures are at least a half degree Celsius above normal, which is about right here. So there are some suggestions that this falls away so quickly that we're talking about maybe weak El Niño conditions as early as summer. Now, overall, that's great. That is a signal for a lack of heat and decent moisture. This is a very positive signal for Farm Credit's area. And I want to show it to you. So the newest European model data, here it is. This is ocean temperatures first. Watch right in through here. This is where our current La Niña sits. That's the cooler than normal temperatures here. And as I go from February into March, April, May, June, and July, what we see here is that during that time period, the strong trade winds, which define a La Niña, are gone, and the warm water sloshes back. What that does is that increases the momentum in the jet stream and allows us to see just better chances of more spring storm systems. There's one caveat to all of this. If we end up getting more of these spring storm systems, that does start to increase the risk that as we go into spring of seeing more, possibly some more severe weather. So just like the Climate Prediction Center was suggesting, just like we know from analog years, March, April, and May, again, you can see the European model's newest data right smack dab in the middle. Illinois showing up wetter than average. Where is it drier? West. As we go in and look at April, May, and June, again, the models are honing in on an area in through here. Part of the Missouri Valley, the Mississippi Valley, the Ohio Valley, all of that coming together here, in the southern half of Illinois, better chances of wetter conditions this spring. If we look out there into May, June, July, even out there June, July, August, you notice that the models are keeping that risk of being wetter than normal around. So overall, this is a very favorable picture going forward. Yeah, certain things can happen to change this up, but that's why I work with Farm Credit so closely to provide updates so we can stay ahead of them. So at this point, I've got a very favorable forecast. Much of that rests on the fact that this La Niña is coming to an end after 3 years of keeping our drought risk relatively high. So we'll see how this all pans out. I'll keep on top of it for you, and we'll be back again soon. I appreciate your attention. Have a good one. Thank you.